Hey everyone, I know it's been a long time since I've posted on this channel, and a lot has happened in the Caitlin Clark world since I last posted. She's declared for the WNBA draft, she won the Big Ten tournament with her team, and I just wanted to do a kind of a regular season wrap-up video. I usually see the postseason as a totally different season, so I want to just focus on how she ended the season and look at her stats. Before I get into all of Caitlin's stats, though, I want to address a narrative that has been surrounding this team for really almost the entire season, which is that they're a one-woman team, that her teammates can't actually play that well. There's no stars. There's nobody else who can really create offense, at least not like Caitlin can, but then, who can? Well, in the final 3 games of the regular season, all of which were wins for Iowa, including against the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, they had at least 4 players in double figures, sometimes 5. And that is exactly what you want heading into the postseason. You want everybody able to score, especially if you're really relying on your offense. But we've also seen some really big defensive plays, especially by Gabby Marshall, Kylie Feuerbach, Sydney Fulter, Hannah Stolke. Even Caitlin has stepped up her defense. But I think the most remarkable thing is that Caitlin has continued to lead the country in assists. That has been true all season long. She leads her team in average assists and is one of the top players in that stat as well. And it's just not the case that her teammates can't play. You just need to watch this team. They've grown all year. They've developed into a high-powered offense. And Caitlin has made them better players. That was my theory at the beginning of the year, and it's now starting to really play out as we head into the postseason, and it's going to make them scary in the tournament. This team is an elite passing team. It's just not something you see that much in women's basketball, or even basketball in general, which has become such an ISO play-focused sport. And yes, that is fun to watch too, but there's nothing like watching passing that works when teams make the extra pass to get the open shot, and that's what Iowa does every game. Their passing game is made possible by Caitlin's long-range shooting abilities, which you can see here in the Minnesota game. She was on fire. That was the game where she passed Lynette Woodard's record for women's major college scoring all time. Her shooting just means that those passes are just going to be open, like you can see there to Kate Martin, the backdoor pass, and this incredible pass to Molly Davis from half court. This just doesn't happen unless Caitlin and others are also shooting well. And the more they shoot well, the more those passes are going to be there. Speaking of passes, one season stat that I wanted to highlight of Caitlin's is her transition assists. 36% of her assists were in transition this season, and over 7% of her assists were after a made basket. That might not sound like a very high number, but when you think about the fact that a lot of players just don't even think to push the ball up after a made basket, Caitlin does that. She will get the ball. She's already looking down the court, and the other team is celebrating the shot they just made, and she will just launch the ball the entire length of the court, all the way to Hannah Stolke, usually. Sometimes others, like Kate Martin, will be the recipient. But her consistent ability to just have a heads-up play right after a made basket and not take too many dribbles is something that is really admirable. And it's something that we will probably see her do a lot of at the next level. Caitlin finished the season with 260 overall assists. She also ended the season leading the nation in average assists at 8.7 per game. Her points per game finished at 32, which again was the most in the country. And she also led the nation in total points with 968 overall. She also led the country in average three-pointers made per game at 5.2, which, given the amount of three-pointers she takes, is probably not surprising. Looking at some of her other stats, they are almost all about the same as last year. Her field goal percentage was 46.5%. Last year, it was 47.3%. Her assisted turnover ratio, which is a stat that I've been keeping a close eye on, is lower than last year. She's at 1.87, when last year it was 2.07. But ones that have gone up a little bit are her PPSA and her PPP have gone up to 1.25 and 1.06, respectively. But one stat that has gone way up, and one that I've mentioned here before on this channel, is her player efficiency rating, which measures the overall efficiency, the per minute value of a player. And that's gone up to 44.9 after being at 40.9 last year. This just tells you what value she's added to this team and how much she's actually improved overall in some of the more advanced metrics since last year, which will carry her very well into the pros. Her game is going to translate, I think,